Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we discuss a 2021 model hot off the presses. This is the Panerai Luminor Submersible Goldtech Oro Carbo, a timepiece featuring a combination of carbon fiber and red gold. It is a spectacular 44mm Luminor 1950 case with submersible functionality. The timepiece is 44mm in diameter by a surprisingly svelte 13.4mm thick, 54.3mm from lug tip to lug tip, with a 24mm spacing between the lugs. We'll zoom out, we'll throw it on my wrist. When I first saw this watch, I was under the impression it might be a little bit smaller than 44. So though it's a big watch, I find it wears a bit smaller than a typical Panerai 44. I don't know if it is somehow an optical illusion due to the colors and the tones and how nicely they match almost any skin color, but the watch really does have a more discreet and tasteful presence on the wrist than typically bombastic full gold Panerai Submersible. I can recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference, though I wouldn't go any smaller than that, and surprisingly, it will fit underneath the dress cuff. It is not a thick Panerai diver. Taking a quick look at the strap, you can see it's a lovely bellows style, extensible rubber. It's got a little bit of extensible give to it and twist, making it highly flexible, these bellows, allowing it to articulate without tearing. And then there's a hollow underneath. You can see there's a little bit of a hollow channel that allows the wrist to aerate on a hot day. As you can see, very traditional here. Panerai bars fixed by screws, no quick release system, and thank God no spring bars. This is the old school way of fixing a strap securely to a Panerai watch. The strap features the old OP interlocking 1970s logo, and then we have right here a simple PVD buckle in titanium. The remainder of the watch is a combination of a titanium case back, a red gold case, and then a carbon fiber bezel with carbon fiber crown and locking lever. Let's start from the outside and work our way in. The case is Oro Rosso, red gold, and it's the 1950 case. As you can see, it's not the tuna can. It's got these lovely curves influenced by the 1950s Panerai reference 6152, so it's a more complex form than the original Alessandro Betterini tuna can. It's a good-looking watch, and it's made even more so by the use of satin rather than polished gold. I mentioned this watch doesn't look quite as bombastic as its size, brand, and material would indicate on paper. It's muted because of the satination, and I appreciate that. The bezel is made up of several layers of a carbon fiber material. You can see it is a UD type of weave, so it doesn't have the cross hatching you typically associate with F1 style carbon. We have these lovely cabochon of red gold inserted into the bezel, and I've always said Panerai submersible bezels sound and feel better than anything in the business. My goodness, that's like a belt-fed machine gun. It's a 60-click bezel with a wonderful action. You'll want to play with it just to feel it and hear it. A large luminescent pearl. It's a fully luminescent dial, and we'll see that now. You can see the middle hand for the minutes is blue to match the pearl on the bezel, so it's easy to line up your timing references as you will be timing using the bezel pearl and the minute hand during a dive. Now, it's also an upscale look for Panerai, as rather than the conventional sandwich dial, here we have applique individual indices, so they're placed rather than printed or stenciled. The dial does include a little bit of gilt and white printing on black, which is a matte black base, anti-reflective. The watch has rudimentary setting features. It doesn't have the zero reset or the time zone functions you see on some Panerai automatics. We have hacking seconds, and then we have, should you need it, a quick set date. The watch features the traditional locking lever, which is a real design icon. You can see covering up the whole watch and leaving only the crown. You know what brand this is, and you know what model line this is. It's a Luminor. That's a true icon. You have a locking system with a cam that presses down the crown, compressing the crown. That gives you 300 meters. Releasing the crown, now you can wind the watch, now you can set the watch. This is a great way to prevent accidental drowning of your watch, as it's a lot harder to jump in the water with that flag hanging out than it is with a screw-down crown that might be turned out 2 or 3 threads. So this is good if you want to avoid accidentally drowning your watch. The crown guard is also more protective than a standard shouldered crown guard, as if you get hit straight on with a Rolex or Omega, a straight on hit to the crown can still damage the watch, whereas here you do have that all aspect protection. And of course, it's a lot easier to unlock and lock when your hands might be wet, sweaty, or gloved. That's tough to do with a screw down crown. Not much to see underneath the case back. You can see W series, recent manufacture, and then of course the image of the SLC, the Soloro Alanta Corsa, or the Pig, the manned torpedo used by the Decima Flotilla, the pioneering frogmen of the Italian Navy during the 30s and 40s. Underneath that, we have a caliber P900 that's a Val Fleurier movement doing business as the Panerai P900. Automatic winding, 72-hour power reserve, 23 joules, 4 hertz beat rate. It has the stop seconds and the hacking function, and then all of this is water resistant down to 300 meters. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.